Hey, Bulls fans, I'm AdamHarry with
JayArr.
And we're both from Belvoir Souls. We're here today to talk about the other rules in the Thousand Suns Codex. We're going to be talking about their
army
Legion,
special rules.
yeah, their
Legion whatever.
chapter tactics. What do you want to call them? Warlord traits, psychic powers, stratagems,
relics, all kinds of. You want rules? We got them.
We got the rules.
We got them there for you. Here, crazy rule time. Go.
Let's do it. So let's talk about real fast those crazy rule time goes. We are going to be looking at their abilities real quick. We mentioned last time we covered their army list and their army abilities. Today
which are Death to the False Emperor and
Demonic Ritual. If you take a Thousand Suns detachment, though, you get these specific things. So
you get Brotherhood of Sorcerers.
Yep.
Which increases the ranges of all of your psychic powers manifested by units with that ability.
Real quick, these abilities apply if your army is Battleforged. These apply to psychic units in the Thousand Suns detachments. Gain the Brotherhood of Sorcerers ability. In addition, troops units in the Thousand Suns detachments gain the Disciples of Tzeentch ability. So Brotherhood of Sorcerers only applies to Psychers in the Battleforges units, Battleforge detachments of Thousand Suns. Troops in those Thousand Suns get Disciples of Tzeentch, which does
well, Disciples of Tzeentch is objective secured. Yeah, that's it. Everyone got it.
Yeah, but the big thing, psychic powers, objective secured.
Yeah. Psychic powers get an extra 6 inches of range. That's pretty spicy.
I feel like that could be very useful.
That's real spicy. That means that Smite is 24 inches.
You guys can figure that one out.
You do the math. Oh no, we did the math for you, but
we did.
I'm sure you can find a use for that somehow.
Yeah, an extra 6 inches on your psychic powers just for all of your sorcerers seems legit. Moving on, Warlord traits.
All right.
Again, we have 6 Warlord traits. Armin and Magnus the Red each have their own specific ones.
Yep.
We'll go through those real fast when we get to them. But 6 options here. The first one is Arrogance of Eons. I think we've seen this one before, but you can reroll failed deny the witch tests you take for this Warlord.
You also have Undying Form, which reduces all damage suffered by your Warlord by 1.
Down to a minimum of 1.
So you'll always be taking a point of damage, but hey, did you want to take a Serpent Shield? Great. Yeah. You've got one.
Yeah. Aether Stride is their next one up. Your Warlord can advance and charge in the same turn and can reroll failed charge rolls.
Oh, sorry, Corn. There's another unit that isn't Corn that gets to do that.
I know. I know. But that's your Warlord. So,
that's your Warlord.
I mean,
but still,
but you can't put that on Armin or Magnus, though. Thankfully for all of us non-Magnus players. Okay.
Anyway, there's also Lorda of the Forbidden Lore, which gives your Warlord an extra psychic power.
I want to point this out. This is Magnus's power.
Yeah, that's what he's got. So he knows 4 power.
Yeah, 5.
5 if you count Smite.
Count Smite. He knows 5 powers. Which is fun. It's fun. But that's his specific one. If he's your Warlord, and why wouldn't he be? Unless he's teaming up with his brother Mortarion, and they're running
Mortyman.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mangus and Mortyman.
Otherworldly Prescience is their next one up here. It's improve your Warlord's invulnerable save by 1 to a max of 3. And that one is Armin's ability.
Yep.
So Armin does have a fancy save.
And then of course there's the High Magister.
Yep.
High Magister.
High Magister. Add 1 to your psychic test when you take for your Warlord.
So great. Pull off those psychic powers all the time.
All the time.
Did you like psychics? Great. You should be playing a Thousand Suns army.
Why aren't you? Next up, stratagems.
Yep.
In total, how many do we have here? There's 4, 8, 12. Boon of Z is that one.
13. 17. 21
stratagems.
total. Many of these we've seen before, like Linebreaker Bombardment, for instance.
That's for Thousand Suns. Vindicators, we're going to skip that one.
Yep, we know that one. There's the Great Sorcerer, Charlie Brown, which lets you...
for 1 CP,
yeah.
Use this stratagem at the end of your psychic phase. Select a Thousand Suns Psyker. That Psyker can immediately do another psychic power.
So if you want Magnus to manifest 4 powers, great, you can. There's Fire Frenzy, which we've seen before.
Hellbrutes.
That's Hellbrutes. Demon Forge, which we've also seen. That's for demon vehicles to make extra attacks. But then we have...
It's reroll, fail, hit, and wound rolls for the model till the end of the phase, which we've seen before.
Then there's Coruscating Beam.
This is a 3 CP one, so this one better be good. What does this one do, JayArr?
So you use this one in the shooting phase. Basically, if you did not move your Warlord,
It's Orbital Bombardment.
Yeah, it's Orbital Bombardment, but it's a special Orbital Bombardment. So you pick 2 points on the battlefield that are 9 inches away from each other and invisible to your warlord. But he's probably up on a disc or something, so
yeah,
it's
whatever.
there.
You can see.
Anyway, you draw a line between the
2 points.
2 points.
It is a 1 millimeter wide line. Roll a d6 for each unit that the center of the line passes over, subtracting 1 from the result if the unit rolled for is a character. On a 4+, the unit being rolled for suffers D3 mortal wounds once per battle on this power.
It's
an orbital bombardment that is a line attack. I love the flavor text here. A sudden lethal beam of magic is released from a silver tower. So those are the big spaceships they float around in, and it literally just shot the planet. Yep.
I mean, it's a cool image. Is it worth it though?
Is it worth 3 command points to do?
I don't know about that. Maybe some mortal wounds. Like if you're that desperate for mortal wounds at the time, oh man, you are in more dire straits.
I think for 3 CP it's kind of high. If it had been 2 command points, I think it would have been priced just about right.
Sure.
The issue I have with it is it does do mortal wounds.
It does.
But you roll on a 4-up. But you have the potential to hit multiple units with a 9-inch line.
Multiple characters even, but then you're doing it on a 5-up.
I mean, it could be good.
It could
situational.
Be good. It could be good, but I don't know that it'll ever feel 3 command points good. Like,
absolutely. Yeah,
practically speaking.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
There's Kabbalistic Focus.
1 command point. Use a stratagem for attempting to manifest a psychic power with a 1,000-sun psyker. With a 1,000-sun psyker from your army that is within 6 inches of at least 2 other friendly 1,000-sun psykers. Add 2 to the psychic test. We've seen these kind of cabal things before.
Yeah.
You just have to have 3 guys next to each other and you get a +2 on the test.
Is
that worth it?
Absolutely.
For 1 command point, if you really need a power to go off, it's fantastic.
Yeah, if you're
warp time. What?
Yeah, if you want to make sure that warp time hits, or if you want to do that 2d6 mortal wound smite from good old Mangus, then an extra +2. Like if he's at that's +4 on your psychic test.
So it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty spicy.
Relics of the 1,000 Suns. It's 1 or 3.
Yeah, it's the relic stratagem. Kill shot. We've seen before. Predator times. Blasphemous machines. I think we've also seen before.
It's 1 CP. Let's see.
Yeah, that's the power of the machine spirit.
Yeah, you ignore.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, until the end of the turn, a vehicle, 1,000 Suns vehicle, can ignore the penalties for moving and firing heavy weapons, or advancing and firing assault weapons. So, 1 point, Warp Flame Gargoyles. This is the power I like.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that one's going to be good. Use this stratagem at the start of any fight phase. Pick a 1,000 Suns vehicle from your army, but not a Hellbrood or Helldrake, and roll a d6 for each unit, friend or foe, within 3 inches of it, subtracting 2 from the hit roll. From the roll if the unit is a character or vehicle. On a 4-up, the unit being rolled for suffers D6 mortal wounds.
D3 mortal wounds.
Sorry, D3 mortal wounds. That is basically the same as the coruscating beam, but except you can do it every turn. It's 1 CP, and it's off of a vehicle. So if you take a Rhino, just jam it into your enemy lines and spend one point a turn. Every unit is getting blasted by this. That's why I have a problem with the coruscating beam.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't feel like,
Absolutely. It doesn't feel like as impactful as the Warp Flame Gargoyles.
Like, that's just
That is. Because on top of that, you're getting charged by a Rhino, which is always hilarious. Because they're never going to do anything, but they're going to stop units from shooting you.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
And it's at the start of the fight phase, so you're literally like ramming it in there. And you guys have played with Rhinos before. You know the type of footprint we're working with here.
Yeah, it's
3 inches off of
big.
a Rhino is pretty good. You can also put that on a Land Raider.
Yeah, you could put it on a Land Raider. You could put it on a Defiler.
Yeah.
They're vehicles, technically, I think.
They are vehicles. Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff you can put it on.
Just not Hellbrutes or Helldrakes.
Yep, that's it.
Anyway, Chaos Familiar is 1 point. I think we've seen that before.
It's a familiar. You know
extra
what a familiar
power,
does.
right?
You get an extra power.
Replace a single psychic power with a power from your choice.
This one is specifically 1,000 Suns flavored, so you can do Discipline of Change, Discipline of Siege, or Dark Hereticus. So if you don't have access to one power that you want from there,
I think it's great because you can use it to swap it out during the game. So that's why you do that. Sorcerer's Pact, 1 point.
I believe seen that one before.
Yeah, you can roll 4 dice rather than 3 when summoning a unit.
And you also don't take
mortal wounds for doubles or triples.
Yep.
Which is kind of nice.
Veterans of the Long War, which everyone has. Then there's the Boon of Z, which is like the Boon of Chaos, where some guy gets who kills a character might ascend.
Yeah. So real quick, it's a 1-pointer. Use a stratagem on your Thousand Suns characters. At the end of the fight phase, when they slay an enemy character, vehicle, or monster. This excludes demonic characters, by the way.
Right.
Roll 2d6, look up the following result. On a 2, turn to a spawn. On 3, you get Arcane Oculum. Add 6 inch to the range of all your shooting attacks, which is kind of cool. On a 4, Temporal Distortion. Add 3 to the character's move. 5, Prescient Foresight. Each time the character loses a wound. On a 6, they do not lose that wound. If you already have that ability, you add 1 to that ability, which is kind of cool. Stoic Insight. Add 1 to any psychic test you take for the character.
On a 7, the Eye opens. You get to pick whichever one you want, except for the first and last ones.
Yep.
So you can't choose to turn into a spawn for whatever reason, or a Demon Prince. On an 8, you get Aura of Illusion, which subtracts 1 from all hit rolls that target you in the fight phase. You can get Aether Flame on a 9, which adds 1 to the damage characteristic of all your melee weapons. On a 10, you get Crystalline Body, which adds 1 toughness. On an 11, you get Fragment of Immortality, which gives you an extra wound. Or on a 12,
you turn into a demon.
But you don't turn into any demon. You turn specifically into a Demon Prince of Tzeentch, and they're the best.
Yep. The boon lasts for the rest of the round, except for obviously the Spondum and Demonhood. Yeah, it's Boon of Chaos.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But
Webway.
It's slightly different from
it is slightly
anyway, yeah.
Webway Infiltration.
Ooh, here we go.
I want to point this out one more time. That word is Webway Infiltration.
Yep.
Yeah, Thousand Suns have been mucking about in the Webway for a while now, looking for the Black Library, and they're starting to learn how to get around in there. Which is why you have this ability. It's 1 or 3 command points. Use a stratagem during your deployment. You can spend 1 CP, set up 1,000 Suns infantry unit, or you can spend 3 and do 2 units. They go in the Webway, of all places. Any number of units in the Webway can emerge at the end of your movement phases. Set each unit up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any model. You can use this stratagem once per battle.
And so now we know why the Emperor has been spinning around on his throne, because all the people he was like, no, don't go mess with the Webway, are messing with the Webway. It was all Mangus's fault. Magnus's fault.
He's saying Mangus on purpose.
I know, but I meant to say Magnus that time. It's bad. It's infected me. But Magnus ruined the Webway.
He did. A couple of things also just to note about this one.
Yeah.
You can only use a stratagem once per battle.
Right.
So you can't put you can't keep spending command points to put a bunch of different units.
Sure.
So and it only applies to Thousand Suns infantry units. So you can't deep strike, I don't know, Magnus.
Right.
But
you can deep strike
Magnus. But you
Magnus.
can't do it if you use a different book. Whatever.
Anyway, so, if you have Magnus and you want to also infiltrate, I don't know.
Let's just move on. Soul Flame is the next stratagem power. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. You can, before one of your sorcerers dies, you can roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of them. On a
4+, the unit rolls gets a mortal wound. So basically, it turns your aspiring sorcerers or Scarab Assault sorcerers into explosions.
Yep, it's pretty good.
Then there's Fated Mutation.
This one's really good.
This is the 1-pointer. This is the one that actually makes Spawn better.
Yeah.
You can use it in the fight phase before a unit of Tzeentch Chaos Spawn. Fight, instead of rolling a d3 for the unit's mutated beyond reason ability, you choose the result. On top of that, you reroll the number of attacks each Chaos Spawn in the unit makes until the end of the phase.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
That is real cool.
Because that's going to up the chances that you're actually going to get a decent amount of attacks with them. And you can pick the ability so you can get the attacks you need.
Yeah.
Which is really saucy.
Extra spicy. They're still spawns, so they're still going to fall apart. But if, you'll be able to capitalize on...
The turn they get in there, it's going to
be so good. Yeah. Vengeance for Prospero. Use this stratagem right before your Thousand Suns unit fight, and they get Death to the False Emperor on a 4+. instead of a 6+ if you're fighting the Space Wolves.
Yes!
Because
I love faction-specific stratagems. They're so useful.
They hate them so much.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's a nice ability. It's a flavorful ability. It makes me want to play 1,000 Suns vs. Space Wolves. That's all.
I like it a lot better than the Dark Angels
and the Space Wolf one.
Space Wolf one.
Whatever. Flesh Change. The Flesh Change. CP1. Use this stratagem at the start of any phase. Pick a 1,000 Suns infantry character from your army. That character's slain. But you have to add a chaos bond in your army.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And it doesn't cost any points for your reinforcement points in a match play game. So it's a way, if you have a character that's about to just bite the dust,
yeah,
it's a way to like, I'm going to put a spawn here.
Surprise!
Surprise spawn. All right, Inferno Bolts, go ahead.
Inferno Bolts.
1 CP.
So real quick, one thing that I'd wonder about the Flesh Change.
Oh, yeah.
So would that character still give up their points? Like if you were playing a kill point scenario.
I mean, yeah, because you remove them as a casualty.
Okay,
they are slain. They count as count as dead.
Just checking. Inferno Bolts. We've seen this before. I think. But
it applies to any 1,000 Suns vehicle that has a combi bolter, a combi melta, a combi flamer, heavy bolter, or twin heavy bolter. The weapon is upgraded to fire Inferno bolt rounds. AP is -2 instead of minus whatever.
But that's only for the bolter parts of them if you're shooting a combi melta or a combi flamer. But more importantly, a combi melta. You're not going to be AP 6 all of a sudden.
Yeah, but yeah, it changes your bolter shots to AP -2, which is cool.
Yeah, you get an Inferno bolter. Although I guess the flamer would be better. Anyway,
Inferno heavy bolter or twin heavy bolter sounds cool.
Oh, that sounds really good. Baleful Vortex.
Yes.
You can use this after your Mutalith Vortex Beast does one of their powers. You can roll a d6 to select another power, immediately use it, even if it's already used that power, and it's automatically successful. So you can potentially get up to 3 Mutalith Vortex powers in one phase.
It is 1 CP as well, so you can just fire it off again. Then there's 2 CP Cycle of Slaughter. That lets a Zangor unit fight again at the end of the fight phase.
Yeah.
As we were talking about in the last preview, Zangors can end up getting, if you do everything right, can end up hitting on a 2-up with a lot of attacks.
Yeah, and a lot of attacks that are mean.
Yeah, no joke. So,
all right,
they're great for hordes.
Now let's talk relics. Speaking of hordes of treasures. Well, not really.
6.
There are 6. There's 6 treasures. I guess that's not a horde.
So starting off, we have Seer's Bane. This is a Force Sword or Power Sword upgrade. Seer's Bane replaces that with the following profile. It's range melee, type melee, obviously strength as user. It is AP -3, D3 damage, but it gives you another ability. The strength of the bearer is doubled when enemy psychic units or an enemy that includes a model with a leadership characteristic of 9 or higher.
So if you're attacking a big boy, you get it's like a power fist. Fist.
And it goes at your regular speed. So
if it's a Seer's Bane, I guess it's a JC Penny sword.
Karate chop. No, but it's again, any psychic units that are being attacked by you double the strength, and if the model has a leadership characteristic of 9 or more. So if you're talking characters,
like warlords, special guys.
Dark matter crystal.
Dark matter crystal.
Hello,
once
crystal.
per battle, at the end of your movement phase, you can select the bearer or a friendly 1,000 Suns infantry unit within 12 inches of whoever has this. You can remove that unit from the battlefield and immediately put them anywhere else on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So you can sort of teleport.
Yeah.
Most importantly, though, if they started off within 1 inch of enemy models, it doesn't count as falling back. So at the end of your movement phase, you can just sort of redeploy some of your guys that were tied up in combat.
And it doesn't count against you. They can still fight and charge.
Yeah.
Which... Pretty mean.
Helm
of the Third Eye. If your army is battleforged and the wearer is on the battlefield, roll a d6 for each time your opponent uses a stratagem. On a 5+, you gain 1 command point.
Sweet.
I like that.
Everyone's got one of these days. They're so hot right now.
Except for the Adeptus Custodians. Moving on. Yeah. What's the next one here?
There's the Coruscator.
Coruscator.
Or Coruscator, I guess, however you want to pronounce it. If you swap out an Inferno bolt pistol and instead get a weapon that is 12-inch range, pistol 3, strength 4, AP -2, and does D3 damage
pretty good
per
shoot.
shot.
Pretty good.
It's a nice little pistol. Yeah, it's neat. There's the Athenian Scrolls, which if you roll a double when making a successful psychic test with whoever's got the scrolls, your opponent cannot attempt to deny the power.
Or negate it by any means.
Yeah, so whether deny the witch, or like a gloom prism, or a whatever it is that whatever it is that they'll give, like the Necron or the Tau or whomever when they finally get their codex.
Now, a couple of things real fast. That is when you roll a double when making a successful test. So if you roll a double 1 or double 6,
you still take Perils of the Warp.
You still take that, yes.
And if you die from perils, your power still auto fails.
Yes. But you don't auto pass when you roll a double.
Yeah.
It's just if you pass with a successful double. So typically, my point is typically a double 1 is not going to pass the power.
If you want it, you're looking at like double 3s, double 4s, or more.
Yeah, depends.
It's nice.
Unless you have a bunch of bonuses like Magnus, whatever. Last but not least, the Prismatic Staff. This replaces Force Staves. This staff replaces those. You get +2 strength, -1 AP, D3 damage on your melee attacks, and the bearer can shoot and charge during a turn in which it fell back.
That's pretty good.
Which is pretty mean.
So of these relics, which one do you think you would be most likely to take the most often? Like for me, it's the Dark Matter Crystal.
That one's pretty
good. I feel
good.
like that you're always going to be able to get some use out of it.
Yeah.
Whether for like stealing objectives or...
If this is going on my Warlord, depending on who my Warlord is, because you can't put these on character. You can't put these on fancy characters. So like Armin and Magnus can't be given one of these.
Right.
But like like an Exalted Sorcerer, which one do I think I'm going to get the most use out of? Probably the Athenian Scrolls, just in terms of an Exalted Sorcerer on a disc of Tzeentch, flying around because he's got the D6 extra power. He's casting powers that can't be stopped, essentially, which is kind of cool.
Right.
I also like the Third Eye, though.
The Third Eye is pretty good. Getting back 1 command point. When your opponent uses stratagem, like that's so useful, especially considering how many 1 command point stratagems the Thousand Suns have that are really fun.
Yeah. And again, just real quick too, the helm is each time your opponent uses a stratagem, not per command point.
No, each time they use a stratagem. So you're only ever going to get 1 back from them. But
psychic powers. Now they have 3 charts in here: Discipline of Change, Dark Hereticus Discipline, and the Discipline of Tzeentch. Now we have seen Dark Hereticus and Tzeentch as well. Those are just in the book for quick reference. They are not in the book because they're new.
No,
but
you only get 6 new psychic powers, but man, what 6 psychic powers do you get?
Let's go through them real fast. First up, Tzeentch's Firestorm.
Okay.
Tzeentch's Firestorm has a warp value of 7. If manifested, select an enemy unit within 18 inches of the psyker and visible to them. On a 9,
you
roll 9 dice. Sorry. The enemy unit that's selected suffers a moral wound for each roll of a 6.
I think that one's not very exciting.
Statistically, it's not super exciting.
Yeah. But oh man, if you roll hot, oh
yeah, that's it can be cool.
There's
on average, you're gonna get 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
So
there's Boon of Mutation. I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
I really do. It's got a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, you pick a character within 3 inches of the psyker. So you gotta like be close.
Yeah.
But only a Thousand Suns character, not a demon character. You roll 2d6 and consult the Boon of Z stratagem to give. Basically, you give them a Boon of Tzeentch
for the rest of the game.
So you could potentially turn an Exalted Sorcerer or whatever into a Demon Prince.
You
could turn him into a Demon Prince.
Yeah, but you could also turn him into a spawn. Same odds to do that. But you know what? I'll take those odds.
I'll take those odds.
Yeah. Next up is Glamour of Tzeentch. Let's see. That's a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select a friendly Thousand Suns unit within 12 inches of the psyker. Till the start of your next psychic phase, your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls made for the models targeting that unit. So, -1 to hit. I love these powers just because it's just better. It's better to not get hit than to have to make saves.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Doom Bolt is next. I think we've seen something like this before.
It's basically
But it lets you. It's got a warp charge value of 9. It's got a range of 18 inches. You pick a unit. They take D3 mortal wounds, and they cannot advance and have they cut their movement speed in half.
Yeah, which is actually pretty good.
Pretty mean.
It's a better smite because it's range 18 inches and you can pick. It's not the closest enemy.
Yep.
And it affects their movement, which is can really help you out in the long term.
If you know, like, if you're like, no, I want to shut these guys down, Doom Bolt's pretty good. There's Temporal Manipulation as well.
Yeah, Temporal Manipulation has a ward charge value of 6. If manifested, the friendly 1,000 Suns model within 12 inches of the Psyker, that model immediately heals D3 wounds.
And finally, we have the Weaver of Fates.
Fate Weaver.
Fate Weavers. Fate Weavers. It's got a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, a 1,000 Suns unit within 18 inches of the Psyker, you pick them, and they get an extra +1 to their invulnerable saves to a maximum of 3-up. Models that don't have an invulnerable save get a 5-up invulnerable save. So you can, if you want to like give some guys some extra protection, if you want to make like your Zangors a little bit tougher.
Yes, please.
If you want to do, if you want to keep like that clutch unit alive,
like Spawn
through this turn,
give them a 5-up save.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, no, they don't have an invuln save, so they would actually get a really good benefit.
They would.
But also putting that on things with a 4-up or 5-up invuln, dropping those to 3 or 4-up.
4, yeah.
Man,
that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, we're not going to go over the Dark Hereticus or Team powers.
The thing to keep in mind is that you're going to have a lot of variety. So a lot of armies have this problem where they're like, well, there are like 2 powers that I will really ever take. Like if you're Eldar's Guide and Doom.
Wait, what?
Right? if you're librarians, you maybe just smite and then don't do anything else.
Just smite.
But these guys have a lot of options to take. Like there's always something you can do.
And warp time. What?
Yeah, warp time, but also warp time.
And then of course we've got points and tactical objectives. We went over the points in the last video for all the units, so go check that video out. And then the tactical objectives, again, if you play tactical objectives, that matters to you. So yeah, that's all of the extra rules. And that was from, again, the 1,000 Suns book. What did you think overall, man?
I liked it. I really like this army. I love the way they feel. I think they hit a niche that we haven't really seen.
Yeah.
They're like a psychic heavy army that isn't just about blasting smites on everyone.
Yeah.
Like that's the cool thing. It's like it feels like, oh, we've got tools to make our units do extra stuff.
Yeah.
Also, there's a ton of cool lore in this book.
There's a ton of cool stuff in here. We didn't really touch on the lore a whole bunch, but we'll be talking about that. But yeah.
What did you think of the army?
Yeah, I agree with you. The guys on this army has a way to surprisingly move fast with the Zangors, just all the guys you can put on discs of Tzeentch, just all the different casters. It's surprisingly mobile, because when I think of 1,000 Suns, I don't think, just from years of playing, I don't think of a fast-moving army.
Sure.
But now with the addition of all the Zangor stuff in here, and some of the different psychic powers and stuff, they can move around the board in a faster manner and kind of surprise you in ways. What I like about this book is you can run a full 1,000 Suns army now.
Yeah.
And it's just pure 1,000 Suns, and it's cool. They make good allies, but they can stand on their own.
Yeah.
As opposed to some other armies where we've seen them get a book and go, this is really more of an ally army.
Right.
Like an also ran.
So it is.
Yeah, it's something you add in. Those are other armies where you add them into your existing army. This, I feel like you want to collect your own full army.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've got the staying power with Terminators, Occult Terminators. The Rubric Marines are surprisingly fast, or surprisingly tough and durable, with some good range because they can keep moving and shooting. The Zangors add cheap bodies that aren't just cheap bodies, which is important.
Too, they can take the stuff that you were used to playing with.
Yeah.
And they can add some cool new ways to use it, like the Warp Flame gargoyles on a Rhino.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can take the stuff that used to seeing and give you like a new surprising thing, which can either catch your opponent off guard or just be really fun to do. You know, it's nice to have variety.
I just like it. I think this is a good army. Obviously, if you are into psychic powers, that's definitely going to be a thing. You can still toss out a boatload of smites.
Yep.
For now, once we see what happens with the errata rules around smite.
Yeah, those beta rules.
Yeah, there's the possibility too that because they have the watered down smite that maybe they won't get impacted as much, but we'll see.
But again, I think of all the armies out there, they'll be fine not being able to spam out smites.
Even without smite, I still think that they have a ton of psychic powers that are useful, and you want to use them. So Thousand Suns.
Especially Warp Time.
Oh yeah. Can I just get 18 copies of Warp Time? No? Okay. But no, Warp Time's great. And of course, at the end of the day, they still have Magnus.
Yeah.
He's
still a beast.
The beast.
I mean,
he's a beat stick by himself.
I think I'd love to see like how an army like fits with like the Thousand Suns and maybe some like some allied other demons. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I would like to see Thousand Suns allied with Siege demons too. Yeah. I think the cool part about Magnus is now that he's more points, I'm hoping people try Armin out just to change it up. The Exalted Sorcerers, again, on foot or on discs of Zinch are pretty solid.
They're pretty spicy.
I just feel like Magnus doesn't need to be in every freaking army.
He
doesn't have to be. He's more points now, so I'm hoping people shift a little bit and try new things.
Well, especially now that he's lost that re-rolling invulnerable saves.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal.
Yeah, he's in a weird way, he's more expensive and less survivable than he was.
Yeah.
But I think it needed to happen. But they still have some good options there.
I mean, he's still a Primarch.
He's still got 18 wounds and will punch your face in. So
his brother will still beat him up though.
Yeah.
Like, he is not.
But he casts all the powers.
He is not the #1 brother.
Ooh, ouch! Don't tell tell him the Emperor said that. Anyway, that's it for the Thousand Suns Codex.
I'm JayArr.
I'm AdamHarry. Thanks for watching.
Woo!